Good morning. We're going to do a recording today about viruses because Robin has one. You can probably hear it in her voice. She's been asking all week, what's going on? Why did I catch this? I thought if you were feeling good, you wouldn't get sick, blah, blah, blah. We would tell you. We think you're going to find this very interesting. What really happens with a virus is they are not any different really than you or any other living creature upon your planet. They have to find a host or somewhere that they can live in order to experience themselves, you see. And that's what's happening. But we know what your question is. Why is it they chose me? Why is it that I get it and some others don't, you see? And we would tell you that on your plane or planet, yes, that people have trouble avoiding these colds, these flus, these viruses, all of the things and the like. Yes, your COVID that you went through. And why is that? Because you have to understand that your universe is an attractive one and that there are many ways that you can attract something to yourself without even knowing it. Robin's very surprised to find out how she attracted hers, you see. She went over to care for her grandchildren and took one of them out of the bathtub, and he struggled and struggled as he started to cough and cry, yes. She brought him into her in a little bit of a panic because he was full of this RSV virus, which is very difficult for a little one to handle. And she went into her sorrow. She went into her pity. She went into her wishing that he had not caught it. She would rather it be her than him, you see. You know where we're going, don't you? And she unknowingly attracted or opened herself to this thing the moment she did that. The only way that you're ever going to be able to exonerate yourself from things like this is to be in neutrality. It's very hard to be neutral. Look at your countries. Lots of them are trying to be neutral too, and they're finding themselves having to go to one side or the other. It's very hard to maintain this space and not have an opinion or a feeling when you are faced with it. Form. There it is again. When you see something in form, it's really hard to stay neutral. It's really hard to not take that on or to believe that somehow, some way, you're going to be subjected to it because you're looking at it, you see. You can attract viruses to yourself by thinking you're too high vibratory level to even get them. You can attract viruses to yourself by worrying about getting them. And you can attract viruses to yourself as you pity one that has them. All three of these things are attractive qualities to viruses, you see. And the only thing that isn't is complete neutrality. Now, trying to achieve that is difficult. It's not impossible. But when you see someone that is sick and suffering, whoever it is, for whatever reason, whatever the disease, you have to know that somehow they have aligned or attracted this into their experience for the experience of it. And you are not to take it on or breathe it in as though it is your own, because now you are opening. Now you are subject to what it is that you are looking at that you're not really liking, you see. Humans have this idea that if somebody's suffering, by God, they have to suffer with them. It's the human thing to do. It's the nice thing to do. And we would tell you it's a stupid thing to do. It's not going to yield you the result that you're wanting, you see. You can bring them a pot of soup. You can drop them off some medicine. You can do anything you can from a distance to make their life easier. This would be helpful. But for you to sit in any type of feeling or thought that is disempowering, you're no benefit to them at all. You see, Robin has learned a grave lesson here because as children grow and as they become more aware of how you feel when they are sick, they can attach to that feeling and panic right along with you and make themselves sicker, you see. So you as the guide, you as the parent, have to remain observational, neutral, until something occurs that you feel you have to move out of that neutrality and then act on it as you view your child struggling, fevering, whatever it is they are going through. You are neutral until you get the signal or the sign in that connective state, because when you're neutral, you are connected. I need to act here. I need to bring this one in. He needs a little bit of help, you see. This is the way we would advise you to parent when you are raising a child that is becoming ill or struggling with any of these viruses that are going through your society right now. There are lots of them. It's been a bad one for Robin, we would tell you. Coughing all night, waking up at 4 a.m., sore throat, headaches, congested. The likes of this she has not seen for years. But we would tell you the likes of that charge of energy when a virus attacked her grandchild was unlike any she'd ever felt before. And now she knows it, you see. So you do have a little bit of control on how you pick and choose and feel around these things. But you have to understand that achieving a state of neutrality when you are in human form is very difficult because form dominates. It gets all your senses, all your attention, and it is very difficult for you to look away from it or believe even that you can get away from it by looking away from it, you see. But if you're doing it in fear, if you're doing it in avoidance, whatever it is, it's going to get you, you see. You have to be totally neutral, not paying attention, not really caring. Robin said that her husband many years ago got the swine flu. Believes it was 2011 or so. He got very sick. He was probably every bit as sick as your first COVID patients, but the transfer rate was not as high, so it was not as accredited as a epidemic. Let's use that term. But symptoms were bad. It went on for literally months that he was sick. Yes? And she laid in bed with him and shared the bathroom with him, cooked him his food. But at the same time, it was over Christmas. She was very happy and excited about it. All her family was there visiting. Her sister was there. All the children were there. They were in and out of the pool, you see. And Robin gave very little thought to that Dave laying there in his bedroom, sick. It's not that she didn't care or tend to him. She did. But she had other things that were pulling her or grabbing her attention. And she really didn't have time for being in there and getting sick with him, you see. She never got it, which is really quite a feat when you consider how potent that virus really was and how sick people became with it, you see. And she kind of remembers this instant and thinks to herself, I bet it was because I had so many distractions that my focus was taken from it. I couldn't really tend to it. It's not that I didn't feed him or check in on him, but I was having more fun than I was feeling sorry for him. Sorry, Dave. That's the truth of it, you see. So whatever you can do to make yourself really happy when you are knowing that someone close to you is sick, whatever you can do to take your attention from it, not that you don't tend to them, you do, because this is a loving act that will be supportive to the vibratory level that you are. So it is good for you to do this for the ones that you love. But it's also good for you to do something that really makes you happy or that really brings you out of this environment that you are tending to. This will assist you in your neutrality, you see. We hope that this answers your question a little bit. There is nothing out there in sickness, in experiences, in partners, in money, finance, whatever it is that you want to bring to the table that you are not somehow a match to, you see. But the problem is sometimes you just can't quite figure out how. Robin would never have guessed that loving her grandchild and wishing that he were not sick would be something that would make her sick, you see. But it was. She was pitying this child, and she paid for it. So we want you to remember this transmission when you are around sick people, and we want you to be the servant to them, the service of them, but we also want you to remember yourself and do the things that you can do that will engage you to such a degree that you have no time for this. That's your best defense in neutrality. Good day.